What's up, Vankas?
Hello, Vengas.
Today is a very special day. This is like our World Drivers Championship. This is where we fucking drive in Singapore, where it's like 100 degrees, because we're about to do a fucking multi-part 10 hours. Like we did all 10 hours. We've been the whole fucking Drive to Survive season 4, and we're gonna recap it for you.
Yeah, you think that driving in Abu Dhabi under those lights is tough? You think that driving in Jeddah in Saudi Arabia in those tight corners is tough? Well, guess what? How about watching 10 episodes of Drive to Survive in a day and a half and then doing a 10-hour episode about it, okay? But you know what? Okay, I think that this is going to go on to YouTube. Okay, I think that I'm going to put this on YouTube, okay? I think that we're going to this is going to be
now you're talking loco.
Okay, listen, okay? I'm watching Zach Brown. I'm watching the new head of Williams, and we just got to do things different because listen, Claire Williams, we love her, but she was broken by the sport of Formula One. That she was that was a broken person that we saw on the screen, and we got to bring that rally car energy. We're gonna put this episode onto YouTube so that we can have people on YouTube tell us that we're stupid and don't know what the fuck we're talking about. Won't that be fun to have the YouTube Formula One community tell us that we're stupid Americans just stick to NASCAR?
Listen, people want to see our faces. They think we're hot. So that's everyone on TikTok is like, put the whole thing on YouTube. Like, we don't give you enough fucking free shit. You want us to edit the whole thing in fucking Premiere and in fucking GarageBand, you pieces of shit. That's double the work. That's double the fucking work that Jenny's gonna have to do. And we're just thinking about Jenny.
Yeah, and we're like Yuki Tsunoda, who when we work out in the morning, it ruins our whole day, okay?
That was the most iconic line in nonfiction filmmaking history.
That was the greatest moment of all of that's the greatest moment that of all of Netflix, in all of Netflix's library, the greatest single moment of anything that is on Netflix is Yuki Tsunoda saying that working out in the morning ruins his whole day because he's tired.
Elite athlete Yuki Tsunoda saying, when I work out in the morning, it ruins my whole day. That's a heart of a champion right there.
Yeah. So Drive to Survive season 4. What are your big thoughts? What did you think?
My big 10,000 feet up thoughts are, well, I feel like I gotta hate DTS now because I'm a real fan and real fans can't like it.
Right.
No, but seriously, it felt like I was being punished. I still feel like I'm being punished every time I watch it. No, because I feel like it's designed as a gateway drug.
Mm-hmm.
It's designed to like hook a 15-year-old. You know what I mean? Yeah, try this first, it's peach flavored. It's designed to hook a kid.
Yeah.
But right now I need the pure heroin.
Mm-hmm.
I need the pure heroin. I need lap times. I need splits. I need to know what happened in free practice. I need qualifying. And also I understand they go back to the races that they've already showed. I'm like, that's the same race.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Back when I didn't understand, they show the same race 3 times from different angles and it feels different, but I'm like, that's the same. You're just showing Monza from different perspectives and it's just weird.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, and I already knew what happened. And but honestly, there were moments that I was blown away. Obviously, there were moments that were great. 10 hours in like 2 sittings was rough.
Right. Well, I think having this be the first time I know what happens. Like, I know what happens in the races. So then when they're showing, I mean, the last episode, they're just showing, they basically just show the race. And I'm like, I don't know, I'm learning nothing new here. But when you have the little moments of just like when you get those little peeks behind the curtain, like when you see Toto and George, like when Toto tells George that he's going to come to Mercedes and they're like
that was fucking staged. Come on.
Yeah. But at the same time, I'm like, was it staged?
Yeah, he maybe. I mean, probably.
You think they'd have that conversation and they were like, let's just do it for the cameras?
George picked like his most baller jacket that he could possibly find. George's like, I'm going Burberry. I'm going Burberry for this meeting with Toto. With all the Netflix Drive to Survive cameras are there. You know, he knew.
I mean, Toto definitely
that'd
knew.
been iconic if he was like, listen, George, we're going with Valtteri again. Or actually Esteban. He's the analytics, his lap charts are just superior.
Superior. Do I look dynamic? Is it dandruff?
That would have been so amazing if Toto dumped him on Drive to Survive. That would have been fucking iconic.
Yeah, instead he just invited Valtteri over to his house to slit his throat over a cappuccino. All right, so let's get into the episodes. For you know, let's say it. I'm Brian.
I'm Matt.
And we're the Red Flags. We're a Formula One podcast for little sluts who live for the drama. For the American fans, we're going to scoop you up and get you ready for this 2022 season. But first, we got to recap the 2021 season through the fucking slutty little show of Drive to Survive. So episode 1.
Clash of Titans, which honestly, fine.
Mm-hmm.
Fine. And I want to say this. I want to say right off the top that it was publicized that Max wasn't going to be in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta say, it was better because it was better without Max. Because Max was like the shark from Jaws. you know, you had to use your imagination because the imagination is scarier than the actual person. You're projecting so much onto Max because he's not speaking. All that you have is that little shark, that blue car that's just fucking zipping around.
Right.
And I think the for at least the Red Bull Mercedes episodes, the dramatic question of these episodes really from my standpoint is can Christian carry the weight of the dramatic weight of Max not being there?
Right.
The answer is a resounding yes.
So
after the recap, they do like a recap of like things that happened in previous years, and I'm like, who gives a shit about that?
Yeah.
Whatever. Let's get through this.
Right.
And we open on the rolling green pastures, the rolling green hills.
Yeah.
And you know what it is.
Yeah.
You know what it is. It's like when you see the wall in Game of Thrones, you go, oh, this is Jon Snow's story. Or
right. Yeah.
Where you see the sands, where you see it's sort of more hot looking. You're like, oh, this is Pedro Pascal or Brian Muller's story.
That's right.
You know, oh, this we're in Christian's Winterfell right now.
Right. Yeah.
We're in his neck of the woods.
Dun 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 dun, and Christian's just jogging. Dun dun dun.
No, he's running like a rich ass Rocky with the hood on. It was fucking amazing. He's running like a millionaire Rocky, except instead of Philly, he's in fucking
Oxfordshire.
Oxfordshire. And honestly, if I was a producer on Netflix, I would have just been like, let's just go for it and just go. Palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. There's vomit on his sweater already. Mom's spaghetti. He's nervous. On the surface, he looks calm and ready to drop bombs, but he keeps on forgetting what he wrote down. The whole crap, right?
Yeah, totally.
I mean, how much would you have lost it if Christian was running to 8 Mile?
And it was like, if you had one opportunity to beat Toto and give you everything you ever wanted in one moment, would you capture it, or would you just call Michael Massey and not call Michael Massey and let it slip?
You better lose yourself in the music the moment you own it. You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. That was the season.
Totally.
Christian pushing all of his fucking chips into the middle of the table.
Yeah.
this guy's a gangster. His real name's Clarence. You know what I mean? He fucking,
Right.
and Clarence grew up with real nice. And Clarence's parents had a real nice marriage.
Yeah, he's like, I do live in a trailer with Ginger Spice. Yeah, my kids don't think I'm nice. No one thinks I'm nice, but I'm gonna win the championship, Toto.
Yeah, I am short. I'm not as hot as you. But I'm gonna beat you in 2021 and 2022. You know,
Yes. Yeah, I am short. I'm not as hot as you. I'm gonna beat you 21 and 22 because I got Adrian New. Full Eminem revenge plot for Christian.
Eminem move. He is Eminem.
And
in this sport, he is Eminem. He's the little guy that doesn't. And Toto looks the part.
Toto definitely looks the part. I mean, for 3 years.
Toto is wait, who was the bad guy in that movie? He's a huge actor now. Fuck.
Yeah, it's Anthony Mackie. Anthony
Mackie was the guy, man. Toto is Anthony Mackie.
Right. Yeah, I mean, they've been for 3 years. They've been building up. I mean, it's been Christian and Toto, and it's been but Toto's been the guy, and I mean, it's been longer, but in terms of the Drive to Survive of it all, and they just, for them, they knew it was like, okay, like we finally it was the ultimate. They say it's like when you have a kink, right? You have a kink. And it's like, okay, well, I like this power dynamic. And then the ultimate nut is when it's just like the most, it's like they've been building up this kink. And then like this season was like Christian. For Christian, it was the ultimate nut to beat Toto in the way that he did.
Toto Wolff.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're setting up our, the battle of the bands, Toto, Christian, Max, Lewis. And
but then they immediately they know how to cut the tension with like a fart joke because then they cut to Gunther being like he goes, I can't believe I've had a job for 4 seasons.
Yeah, he's like, fourth year. That's crazy.
Crazy. I've had that job for 4 seasons. Then they show you Nikita, Leclerc, and Daniel, Carlos Sainz, and then was it Charles or someone said. Was it Charles? It was Carlos who said, red is not a color that suits many people. Subtext, you're going to be hot as fuck to drive one of these cars.
Right.
And then you see Charles and Carlos being cute together. And then Carlos hit Charles's foot. And he's like, oh, did I kill you? And he asks, hopefully.
Well, it's interesting. Like they're cutting to the drivers, and there is a vibe. Like I think Charles says, things are a little different this year. Like, I've got a new teammate, and we're getting along great. And I think in the back of his mind, he's like, fucking this guy, fucking Carlos Sainz, because Carlos.
No, I actually think they do like each other.
I think they do get along. I think they do get along, but I also think that Charles was beating the pants off of Vettel, and now this new guy's coming in, and they get along because they're but it's like they're both when they're the two of them. It's like Vettel was, I know he had the lure, but he's like older. Charles young hottie, and then all of a sudden new young hottie comes in, and it's like, you're stepping on my babe. Like I'm the young hottie. I'm the young hottie at Ferrari, and now you're coming in with your rugged, you've got the beard, you've got
and you're dark. I can't even compete with you.
Right.
He's more of an otter because I think Carlos Sainz, I'm gonna say it here. I think he shaves sometimes, his body hair. Because sometimes you see him. Sometimes you see him and he's woolly as fuck. Like his body hair is out of control.
Right.
And sometimes you see him and he looks more twinkish.
That's a really great point, because I think when you think about him, he's a hairy, you see him, you're like, that's a hairy guy.
No, he has his forearm hair is insane. Have you seen his forearm? Like he looks like he probably has hair on his like knuckles.
Right,
Probably.
right.
He has to. He's an interesting hybrid. In LA, there are these two gay bars. There's one called, they both are right next to me. One is called Akbar, and one is called the Eagle. And the Akbar is more for the twinks, and the Eagle is just straight bears.
Right.
It's guys who are hairy and could bench press you.
Yes.
And it's like, welcome to the Eagle.
Right.
And I feel like I don't know where Carlos is a shapeshifter. He could probably go into either one, kind of.
Definitely. But where his genetics want him to be is at the Eagle. But he's in Formula One and he drives a Ferrari, so sometimes you gotta, be like, no. I could be at Akbar. I could be at both. I could be over here.
I can't wait for him to retire and put on a little weight and be at the Eagle.
Right. Oh well. Carlos Sainz Sr.
Is
the chairman of the Eagle. Papa Sainz
tufts his hair.
That's right. Yeah.
He's got
he's got that shoulder hair.
Yeah.
He's got that shoulder hair. No Papa Sainz in this season of Drive to Survive, which was a bummer because he's been a shining light of morality.
What a father should be.
Yeah.
What a father should be. You're like, damn.
But yeah, we're talking. We're going through the different. They're profiling the drivers, and then as in Will Buxton fashion, he's like, but the real drama really happens between the team principals, and we see all the team principals in their very awkward photo shoots.
What's crazy is they all look so awkward, except Toto, who manages to balance weirdly on a tire on his knees and still looks incredible. Like Toto doing the weirdest pose looks so natural and just effervescent.
Yeah.
And like Gunther's just trying to stand there with his arms folded, and it's just like there's the part in Spinal Tap, I don't know if you remember, where like it's where Rob Reiner is trying to fold his arms and he like fucks up the folding of his arms, and it's like it's in the beginning.
Right.
Anyway, if you know it, you know it. If you don't, you don't. But it's like incredibly awkward, and that's like the vibe of that of these guys trying to pose for pictures.
Yeah, trying to look intimidating, trying to look sexy. It's just like, I mean, even there's a little shot of like Christian Horner giving the two middle fingers, and it's just like it just doesn't hit. It just doesn't quite hit. It hits like 83% of it, but it doesn't. It's not flush.
Christian hits Christian really hits from like the tits up, like in a talking head interview. He fucking hits.
Right.
But just like posing like full body for a for a camera, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Christian needs a long lens,
and
it needs to be video, and he needs to be in a chair giving fucking fire sound bites.
I mean, the Christian Horner sound bites in this season were fucking flying as they always are. I mean, he's a genius. He's a literal genius.
He's throwing 1,000 miles an hour every time, and he never gets tired.
He never gets tired. He trains for this. That's really what he's like when he's running in his country estate. He's like really like, okay, when am I gonna say that thing about Daniel Ricciardo in episode 2?
I mean, not to get ahead of ourselves, but when he's fighting Toto, he's like talking to his PR guy. He's like, I got some good shots.
Yeah. That was amazing.
I love Christian so much, and everybody who's like, I hate Christian, Karen Horner. I'm like, you would die. Like this sport would wither and like fuck Ferrari. Like there is no Ferrari without there is no F1 without Ferrari. There is no F1 without Christian Horner.
There's no Drive to Survive without Christian Horner.
There's no Drive to Survive without
and
Christian
you know
Horner.
what? And thus, there's no F1 without Christian Horner.
Yes. There's no Drive to Survive with like Otmar.
Yeah.
Like we got to look into these rear wings.
Yeah.
Is this guy ever sketched a part?
Do you think Otmar could ever? Yeah. Do you think Otmar could ever say something as dramatically fucking loaded as, "It's kind of like having a girlfriend who's broken up with you but still living at the house. I mean, it's just got to be brutally awkward."
we gotta work on cloning Christian.
And
just growing him. So when
when
Christian retires, we got the next one ready.
Right. I mean, even as the villain, it's like he's such a great. It's like because people hate him, but it's like thank God that you have someone to fuck. It's like you gotta hate. It's like he's the perfect shitty villain too. He's
the anti, but he's also like the anti here. He's like Jaime Lannister.
right.
You hate him, but you kind of like root for him.
Yeah.
But what the F1 did that was so brilliant that I don't think. I'm sure that some people picked this up or maybe they projected it, but they introduced Stefano Domenicali.
Yes.
This is so important that they do this. He's a smooth Italian guy.
Yeah.
And he just goes, the title fight is everything for F1. And I'm just going to blow it right now, but because this is the F1 telling us what happened.
Right. Totally.
He says the title fight is everything.
Yeah.
We want a title fight. And when they said and then later on, we're going to get in front of this. I'll just say it now. They asked Stefano Kaiser Soze, the real Kaiser Soze, not Michael Massey, not Christian. They said, who do you think is going to be the winner of Lewis and Max? And what does Stefano say? F1. He says F1. And that tells you everything you need to know about what happened in Abu Dhabi.
Right.
Which is they didn't do, everyone's like, oh, they helped Max win. They gave it to Max. They didn't give it to Max. They gave it to themselves. They just, they put their finger on the scale for the most exciting. They did not want that title fight that had more viewers than the Super Bowl to end under a safety car. That would have been a disaster for them. And when you fire Michael Massey, I don't think it was Michael Massey's fault. I think people were leaning on him to be like, make it slutty. It was people like me, because at the end of the day, Stefano Domenicali is a red flag and is like, make it slutty.
Yeah.
And I think that was Stefano telling us what it was. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it was the FIA and F1 tipping the scales throughout the whole thing to try to keep it as even as possible. And then Max, and for a lot of the season, because Red Bull was dominating, those things were going, Lewis's way. And at the end, when it was like, okay, and then they put their little finger on the scale, gave Max that push. And the controversy fucking reigned. Okay, let's make our way through this. Yeah, I mean, I just love the fact that F1 is like a character. It's like Stefano Domenicali is there. It's like F1's a character in the season of Drive to Survive because it was, fucking psycho this year. So, yeah, we see Christian talking, just he's talking some shit. He's talking some shit about
some major shit.
Saying Toto. He's just a money guy. He's not really
a finance guy.
He's a finance guy, and he inherited a good thing. He's never had to build anything. Toto's never had to build anything. He's just a money guy. And then they cut to Toto on a private jet, on a phone call, talking about money. Just absolutely, just putting the finger on the scale.
It is such a rich guy sport when Christian's like, I am a gritty.
Yeah.
I'm a gritty guy who's had to work for everything.
Right. you know,
Christian came from a wealthy family.
Yeah. Christian's like, bootstrap, gotta pick myself up by my bootstraps. What bootstraps are those? The ones that I take to go shoot skeet on my country estate. Those are the boots that I pull myself up by.
By the way, you could say, well, he made a lot of money doing Red Bull stuff. I'm like, well, you don't like if somebody gave me $100 million right now, I wouldn't start go shooting. Like I wouldn't know
Right.
how.
Right. That's a
grow up-
cultural thing. That's a cultural thing.
That's something you grow up doing. That's old money shit.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
You don't. New money people don't start shooting skeet.
Right.
They buy a fucking Ferrari is what they do because it's corny as fuck. Anyway.
And yeah, I mean, there's the great.
They're on the horses.
They're on the horses. They're talking about Jerry's talking about. Yeah.
Jenny pointed out. Does Jerry own anything that's not just fucking white or cream? She's always in white or cream.
Yeah.
It's insane.
She knows her colors, babe. She knows what looks good with that red hair. She's wearing those various degrees of tan.
No, what also looks good on her is the British flag. That's what she's most famous for.
That's true. That's true.
That British flag, that British flag dress. Iconic.
Yeah, they're on the horses, and Jerry's talking about, like, they want you to be in control. It was, the horses, they like when you're in control. I was like, okay, guys,
This is so staged. This is so staged.
But it's also it's sex. I'm like, okay, they like
and
being.
Then it's like
they like being dominated, huh?
You're like, it's like your horse is like a Botas.
Yeah.
And then Christian's like, I'm not riding Botas.
Right, yes. I'm not riding Botas, God. I'm like, okay, everyone's jotting that down for the spank bank later.
That's a combo I didn't know I needed, but now I know.
I mean, both two men that have been fucked by Toto Wolff, Christian and Botas. Yeah.
Oh, also Bonotto randomly forgot English this season, which is iconic.
That he's only speaking in Italian.
I think he's only speaking Italian, which is like, I'm doing the bare fucking minimum for this.
Well, I think it's a smart move on his part, because he's like, what am I going to speak in? I don't speak English that well. It's like very much.
He speaks English.
I know, but it's not real. It's like, I'm just going to fucking speak in my native tongue and have you translate that shit.
Because he gave us so much fucking hot 100-mile-an-hour takes in Italian. I mean, he wasn't saying much in Italian either.
That is, I mean, he keeps it close to the vest.
Yeah.
For what reason, unclear. He just doesn't really understand what this whole thing. He just doesn't really get what this whole thing is about. Like, why am I on this TV show? Why do people care about it? Why do people like Gunther Steiner? I don't understand any of it. I don't understand anything about how this Drive to Survive and the new age Formula One works. I don't get it. I guess
I don't get it. I don't like it.
He's like, he's like, but and every day he's looking at Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc, and he still doesn't get it.
No, he does get it to some degree, but the thing is the reason why you don't get why Gunther is a star is the reason why you're not a star.
Totally,
because Gunther
gets why
Gunther gets it. Gunther, and the thing is, I mean, Gunther, you got to take your hat off to him. I mean, the ratio of not able to perform to star ratio,
right,
is insane. He has such an outsized role in this thing, even though he is just so criminally bad. His team is so literally criminally bad. Okay. Get there.
So this episode previews Bahrain. I recently found out that's how you say it. It's not Bahrain, it's Bahrain. So I'm saying it like that. And I mean, we watched the season. It's just basically like, Mercedes is struggling. They're struggling through testing, which they're struggling right now. They're struggling right now through testing. And
but everyone's like they're sandbagging there. So it's interesting to see what testing portended last year because now you're like, oh, what did testing mean last year? Because maybe it will mean the same this year.
Right.
Like, is there anything you can take? It's kind of like preseason football. Like, what can you actually take from a preseason game?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, and so, Mercedes is looking weak. And then it comes to qualifying and Max gets pole, right? He gets pole in Bahrain.
I think so.
Yeah, but then during the race, as we know, he loses. Lewis is out in front. Max winds up overtaking, but he overtakes outside the line, so he's forced to give the place back, and he's unable to make back that first place position, and Lewis winds up winning, and it's kind of like, yeah, you thought you were going to take this thing, but hold on, hold my beer. I'm Total Wolf, and I'm still gonna take it.
Mazepin also spun off immediately
on the third turn. Mazepin spins off in 3 seconds. And
also they also did a few little things that I want to touch. Gunther's management. He's sitting down Mick and Nikita, and he goes, "Okay, you two just don't run into each other." And then Nikita goes, "Why are you looking at me?" And then you could see everyone hates Mercedes. Like,
oh right,
everyone's like, this Emirati president of motorsports is like, kick their fucking ass. Kick their ass. And Christian's like, I'm trying. And then it cuts to Yuki.
Yeah.
We first meet Yuki. Yuki goes, I'm like a tiger, silently preparing. I have no fear. I was like, let's go, Yuki. Also, fuck Daniel Ricciardo, because he was like, oh, Yuki's so small.
I'm know.
Sick and tired of people. We can get into this later, but Yuki is, I don't know if it's racism, but it's definitely like a cultural bias against Japanese people.
What is?
The way people react to, in that world, the way people react to Yuki, it's like they don't know what to do with him. Because people in their head, they have, especially people who are well-traveled, who understand Japanese culture, they have a certain idea of what Japanese people are, especially because they deal with Japanese business people probably a lot. And like, Japanese people are known to be industrious, hardworking, very respectful, very humble,
right.
Very, very hardworking. And Yuki, very orderly. That's the stereotype, right?
Right.
Which is not. I don't know if that's racial or cultural. It's probably both. But and Yuki apparently is none of those things. so like, they don't really, like, when they thought they were getting a Japanese driver, they probably in their head thought they were getting something else. I mean, Helmut Marko actually said something really fucked up. He was like, he needs to be more Japanese. Like, he needs to be more humble. He needs to be more like the positive stereotypes that I imagine him to be.
Right.
We'll get into that. We'll get into that later.
Yeah. But so, Lewis wins, and we're like, okay, cool, Bahrain, that's done. Okay, next episode.
And Christian's like, Toto's such a bitch. Toto's such an asshole. He goes, oh, don't be too grumpy. He's grumpy. Oh.
When does he say that to Christian?
To Christian, oh, don't be too grumpy. Like afterwards in the presser at Bahrain.
Yeah, just poking the bear, just poking the little bear. Okay, so that's episode fucking 1. Now before we get to episode 2, ladies and gents, this is a momentous day for the Red Flags podcast because we have a fucking sponsor. Yeah, this episode we got a fucking sponsor. You're gonna have to deal. You know what? Don't skip ahead because this isn't gonna be just a normal fucking ad read. You're gonna want to fucking not skip ahead for this shit. Don't you dare do it, okay?
Don't do it.
This episode is brought to you by Flags for Good. Okay, but let's not say it. Let me say it so we don't step over each other, so they can hear what the company's called.
Well, we said it at the same time.
No, we didn't. No, this is over Zoom. We understand what this is. Okay, this episode is brought to you by Flags for Good. Okay, Flags for Good is a flag company that actually stands for something. Okay, they only sell flags that they believe in. All right, and you know what that means? They're not Trump flags, okay? We're selling woke flags over here, okay? They donate a portion of every sale to causes that move humanity in the right direction. Okay, so we're talking about BLM flags. We're talking about Pride flags. We're talking about they're selling flags for Ukraine right now.
Yep.
And they're donating portions of the sales to that to a charity that is helping the people in Ukraine right now. Okay, so listen. You listen to this podcast for fucking free. You're pieces of shit in your day-to-day life. The least you can do, the least that you can fucking do is go buy a flag and support something that you fucking believe in. Okay, if Lewis Hamilton can wear a rainbow helmet in Saudi Arabia, you can buy a goddamn Black Lives Matter sticker and put it on your goddamn laptop. Okay. God damn. So visit flagsforgood.com for full-size flags, garden flags, and stickers. You get 10% off, okay? 10% off your first purchase when you use the code REDFLAGS.
And use the code, please, because they're keeping track of it. The code, it's not just so you get a discount. It's so they're seeing how fucking effective this campaign is.
Yeah.
Okay? So buy the fucking flag, use the code.
Use the code.
If you already have a gay pride flag, if you already have a Ukraine flag, if you already have a Black Lives Matter flag, that's great. But like throw those out and buy it again from these.
That's right.
That's
right. He also
throw
makes
those flags out or give them away.
He's making some sexy flags, like city flags. You know, it's like your city has a flag and states have their own flags, and but they all suck. So our guy Michael at flagsforgood.com is making his own version of those fucking flags that are fucking sexy, and you're gonna want to put them in your fucking house or fly them outside your fucking house, your apartment building, put it on your fucking window, put it wherever the fuck you want, but just use the code REDFLAGS, flags with an S, okay? Because we're two red flags who are here to tell you to buy this fucking product and support us for once in your goddamn life financially. You support us with your time and attention, but now we need you to support us with your finances so that we can get paid more to do these fucking ads. Okay. Boom. Ad read. Done. Crushed it. Absolutely. Episode 2 of Drive to Survive. We're an hour into this podcast. We're only on episode 2. Let's fucking get into it.
Yeah.
So we were at Bahrain, right? We're at Bahrain in episode 1, and now we're in, and now it's like, okay, cool. Like, what else do we have here? And it's just like, boom, we're in Bahrain again. Why do they do this repeat shit? Drive to Survive. It's like there's so many races in the season. I really did feel like one of those fans watching this because I've actually watched the season now. I felt like I felt like an old head being like, we're showing Bahrain again? Who gives a fuck? There's so many other races that we could fucking profile in this season. This is what we're doing? Yeah. Pissed me off. But this is the Daniel Ricciardo
misery porn
episode. And I gotta say, I enjoyed watching Daniel suffer. It was
Brian was fully masturbating to the
I was like,
to Lando just being like, ooh, from the back. From the back. Ooh. I mean, Daniel Ricciardo has just been parading around this television show, just high-fiving people, giving people wedgies, just giving people like wet willies, just doing whatever the fuck he wants. Honestly, he raced like the F1 is for the Drive to Survive. At this point.
Yeah, totally.
That's all it is. He's more F1. I mean, he went on Ellen.
Mm-hmm.
To promote Drive to Survive, not F1. Drive to Survive. It's like, so I hear Daniel, I hear you got a new movie you're starring in. Yeah, it's called Drive to Survive. It's fucking insane. I was like, you don't want to talk about the sport that it's based on?
He's like, no, it's actually a great Netflix show. You should watch it.
Yeah.
Should we watch the races? Well, you could watch the Netflix show, because if you watch the races, you'll actually see me coming in 8th, and if you watch the television show, you'll see me starring in 4 episodes.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, I'm Daniel Ricciardo. I'm an actor starting 4 of 8. But
that's right. I was major recurring on Drive to Survive season 4. Yeah.
And when you open the banner of like when I turn on Netflix for season 4, it's him winning at Monza. I'm like, you're not the lead character anymore. It's clearly Christian Horner.
I know, but he still finds a way. He still finds a way. He's that guy. And they really gave him that Jon Snow redemption arc this season, which did happen, but it was also ultimately,
he also lost. He also lost to his teammate. And
yeah, he
he's the
got
reason they
whooped by
didn't beat
Lando. Ultimately, he got whooped by Lando.
And he didn't. And he's the reason for they didn't beat Ferrari in the championship.
Definitely, totally,
because they left a lot of points on the table in the beginning of the season that they could have had, and then Ferrari did the engine upgrade, and then they were fucked. But anyway, they remind us they had to show us flashbacks from 2018 to remind us that Daniel was at one point a great racing driver, and
they're showing that he's getting there, and it's not going so smoothly. It's not going so hot. He's not taking to the car. But they're showing Bahrain again, and I'm like, why the fuck are we here? But I guess what they did show within that is that Daniel outqualified Lando.
So we call that in screenwriting, we call that a false positive.
Yeah.
Where it's like they get you up so they lift you up so they can throw you down. It's like, oh, right. Daniel's gonna know he's not. And I also want to give a
I would say that about that him beating Lando in qualifying, it was that you did see Lando. You do, people will talk about how they're trying to pit them against each other and how that's like unfair. They tried to do that with Carlos and Lando in the year earlier.
I think Lando doesn't like Daniel.
Yeah, I think they now kind of they've grown to like each other, but like at this point in the early stages, they were not fucking with each other. It was like, it wasn't smooth. Everyone thought that they were going to love each other, but it wasn't that. And
Lando was like, people thought, because we're both relaxed, chill dudes, we like each other. And he's like, but we're different. He said, we're different. Like, that wasn't manipulative. He said that. He was like, right. We're different.
Totally.
I mean,
Daniel. Lando, I want to say that, but when Lando loses to him in quali, he's like really upset.
He's pissed off.
He's like, he's really like, you see him kind of like sulking. You see him turn into this like, little prince who's like, oh, didn't get what I wanted. Didn't get it.
He also seems like he misses Carlos, and he's gonna hate anyone that fills Carlos's shoes.
Right. And
he's like, it's weird seeing Carlos in red. And they asked him, like, why do you think Carlos went to Ferrari? And Lando goes, pure cash.
Yeah.
And Lando was like mocking Daniel. He was mocking. He was like, let's fuck shit up. Like, he was like mocking Daniel's catchphrases. Yeah. But anyway, Bahrain happens. They get racy. They're really fucking getting close to each other.
Yeah.
And Lando gets him. GR tries to get him back, but Lando fucking pulls away. And then Imola, Lando P3, DR P6, Portugal, right. DR came in 16th. And then Christian.
Yes.
Love in a McLaren episode. You got to have Christian just coming in, asking with the biggest smile on his face. Why is he struggling so much? Why is he's better than this? And you could see through his fucking COVID mask that he is smiling so big.
Ear to fucking ear that he's like, yeah, I gave up the right guy. Yeah, I'm happy with my choice.
I'm happy with my choice.
I'm happy I stuck with,
even though he left him, but anyway.
Right. But even still,
your problem now, Zaddy. This was actually like a moment of vulnerability from him when he was like asking what the fine was for doing media.
Yes.
What's the fine for doing media? And they're like, it's a big fine.
Right. You should just do it.
You should just do it. And then his awful train. And then this was an amazing moment.
Yeah.
He's got this awful trainer who just speaks in pablum, just speaks in fucking platitude.
Yeah.
He goes, his trainer, Michael Italiano. His last name was literally Italiano. He goes, how you handle disappointment defines the type of person you are. And then Daniel goes, what if I'm just a cunt?
Yeah, that was amazing.
I was like, that was fucking Game of Thrones level.
But that's also like why we love that's why Drive to Survive is fucking amazing, because it's like, as much when I say that like I've enjoyed watching Daniel suffer, it's like watching him be fucking bummed is it makes me like him more, and it shows that he actually does care. And the fact that like when he's finishing, when he's getting fucking lapped by Lando in Monaco, he's really like, what the fuck? Like, he's really bummed. He's really fucking depressed about it. And I think it's like
Yes.
what's been a bit, you know, bothersome about watching Daniel Ricciardo during these seasons is that he's like progressively kind of it's like things are getting worse, but he's still got this like cheery, like everything's awesome.
I actually like him better when he's like, you can tell he's not really aware the camera's on him.
Right.
Like there was this moment, and I'm cutting ahead, but the moment where I was like, I loved him again, where it was like before Monza, I think, I don't remember what race he goes. It was later episode. I think it was probably the Monza episode where they come back to him, but he goes, this DJ should be fucking shot. Like, someone should shoot this fucking DJ. Like, you're trying to get in the zone.
Yeah.
And then plays this shit. The fucking Bee Gees.
The Bee Gees, talking shit about the Bee Gees.
Yeah, he's like, he said this DJ should be fucking shot. I was like, there you go. And then I fell in love with him all over again.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to see, it's like, it's great to see him, because they always talk about like he's a secret killer, that he's really competitive. But I'm like, okay, well then why did he go to fucking Renault? Why didn't he stay at Red Bull if he's that competitive? Why did he go to a worse team so he could not compete with someone who was great?
Yeah. And then Christian is just throwing 100 miles an hour.
Yes.
Best character in episodes that have nothing to do with him. He should be doing Will Buxton should be fired, and Christian should be working for F1 as well. And Christian goes, the fact that Lando's younger, he's a good-looking lad, he's funny. He's talking about, like, he goes, Daniel will hate that.
Yeah.
You know who's got a bigger erection than you do for Daniel suffering? Christian Horner. Also, Christian, you talk about how like the women are only into it for how hot they are. I mean, you can't stop talking about how hot these guys are,
right?
And their asses and their balls.
Yeah.
And there's an iconic. The Toto's like, what is it with him in my ass?
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. But that'll be in another episode, okay? You thirsty little sluts. Okay, so don't give him too much, okay? Yeah, Christian has the fast. I mean, you talk about how hot Lando is. He's like, Lando's good looking.
He's funny.
It's funny. He'll hate that. He'll hate that. And I was like, oh, thank God for this man.
And then Lando gets the new deal. Lando gets a new deal.
Right, right.
This was an amazing moment between
This was an amazing, yeah.
Charles and this was the Charlos moment.
Yeah.
Charles is like, oh, he's got the new deal. How many years? And he goes, text him. Carlos is like, I will text him. He goes, yeah, text him. He goes, and then Charles has no social skills.
Yeah. Yeah, because Carlos is like, Carlos is like texting his friend, but also like kind of his ex. He's texting his ex, who he's on good terms with.
Yeah.
Like, asking him about this thing. And,
Charles is like giving him an order. He's trying to dictate a fucking shitty text to Carlos. He goes, ask how many years?
Yes.
And Carlos looks up at him and he goes, I'm going to text him congratulations first. Like,
yeah, and then Charles is like, oh yes, of course.
Fucking iconic.
That was amazing.
That was and this is like proof. This is why Binotto favors Carlos over you, Charles, because Carlos is socially intelligent,
right?
And you're just fucking hot.
You're just fucking gorgeous. Was this the episode also where Zach Brown is ice skating? Is playing hockey?
No.
Is that later? Okay. Because I was like, oh, okay, we need to talk about that. Yeah, I also want to. They also get into a little bit. This is another like annoying little thing from this season where they do Monaco and then they do Monaco again in episode 3. It's like just do the whole thing at once.
The casual fan will not notice it necessarily.
I guess.
When I was first watching it, I didn't notice.
Right.
They were all just zippy races.
Right.
I'm like, oh, you're going back to Monaco? And you show Baku for 5 seconds. And
crazy.
How the fuck? I was not sure I wanted to commit my life to F1, and then I saw Baku, and I was like, I'm in forever. You guys have me forever.
I know.
But anyway.
But when they're in Monaco, though, I think there was a little. You see a little bit of the Carlos mind games because they're driving around Monaco, and Carlos is kind of like, so like you grew up here, huh? And Charles is like, yeah, like right here. And he's like, and this is
Are
where
we
you went
cutting
to.
ahead? Are we cutting ahead?
No. That was
This is episode.
It was in episode 2. Yeah, they're driving because they do it again. It's whatever. It's annoying, but they're driving around Monaco, and he's asking Charles like, so you grew up? Oh yeah, this is where you grew up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's just getting in the head of Charles.
Well, he's also like, this is a crazy place to grow up. This is not a real place.
Totally, but I think it's a little bit of that. But I like to think of it as like he's
putting more pressure on him.
Yeah, it's not even that. He's getting to know his opponent.
Right.
He's like, oh, so you grew up here? Like, can I meet one of your teachers? You know what I mean? I just yeah,
this is the school.
Let me just kind of like slowly attach and get like put a little tracker on you. Put a little like get all the information of what makes a Charles Leclerc so that I can use that against you at some point.
Nico Rosberg style.
Full Nico Rosberg style, but more calculated because Nico just
like,
had that.
you know the back streets. Yeah, you know all this stuff.
You know all this stuff. So tell me. So then let me use your tell me how do I do this corner? Oh, because you've driven this. So I would do. Okay, great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Charles.
There was also a great moment where like Monegasque was like, let's go, Charles, and Carlos was like, thanks for the support, and he said it in this amazing deadpan. You're like, this guy's got a sense of humor.
Mm-hmm.
This guy's very smart.
Mm-hmm.
He's very charming. He nailed it with the. And Charles was like laughing. He goes, this is how I feel when I'm in Spain. He goes, But but the best part, one of the best parts of this whole episode was when the article came out where Lando was like, felt no sympathy for Daniel.
Right.
The Lando's a sociopath story. Yeah, she goes, yeah, there's this crazy story where you said you don't feel sympathy for him. So we're gonna have to iron that out. And then Lando goes, well, I don't feel sympathy for him. And they're like,
right,
great. And then they have the meeting. It's like, yeah, there's a story where Lando, you said you don't have sympathy for him. And then Lando, this is a page from Carlos's book where he's like learning how to bully a little bit. He goes, well, I don't have sympathy for him. And then he looks at Daniel Ricciardo and he goes, unless you want me to have sympathy for you. And Daniel, you could tell Daniel Ricciardo is so like, he just wants to beat the shit out of this little fuck.
Yeah.
It's like, God damn it. If this was if this sport was real life, could like, if it involved actual physicality, I would kill you.
Right.
Fuck
yeah.
No.
Yeah, that was a pro move. That was I've spent 2 years with Carlos Sainz move.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Daniel, you don't want me to have sympathy for you, right?
Yeah,
like,
right.
Yeah, don't do that.
I guess not.
Yeah,
and then he goes, how many years does Lando have? And Lando's like, that's none of your fucking business.
Yeah.
Gangsters move like Silent G's like lasagna. Like, that's Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
And then
so
multi-year.
Yeah, it's multi-year contract, and they're showing him when he's lapping Daniel in Monaco. After they showed Daniel winning in Monaco in 2018, they showed Lando fucking lapping him in Monaco in 2020.
Blue flags for Lando.
Blue flags for Lando.
And then Lando just waving.
Right.
Wave to Daniel Ricciardo later.
Yeah. Thanks, babe. Text you later.
Yeah, and then of course there's the misery porn of Charles being on pole, and then I gotta say, Charles is the best at radios.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, oh no.
Yeah.
Whenever they need to encapsulate something that's happening in the race, they always use Charles radio, because his radios just say what it is in an emotional, evocative way. Which Charles, there was one moment, I forgot where it was, where Charles just goes, "This is a disaster."
Yeah.
Like he just says it so passionately. Like another driver would be just like, "Oh fuck," but he just
Right,
goes,
right.
"Disaster."
Oh no. The gearbox, guys. The
It's
gearbox.
when Grosjean crashes, he goes, "Oh, is he okay? Please, you must tell me. Is he okay?" And he just brings all the passion and
Right,
the fire. He is the best. If I had to listen to one radio, if someone said, "Okay, you can only listen to one radio," it would be his radio. I've decided he's the best at radioing.
Totally.
It's official.
Okay, so then we got to episode 3. And this is the last one we're doing for this episode. You're gonna have to wait for you're gonna wait for either tomorrow or Wednesday. We don't know when we're gonna fucking release the next one. Okay, you better fucking just deal with it. And this is kind of a little bit of like these first 3 episodes were meh. They were meh. They were mid, as they would say, as the kids would say. They were mid. Because it's like you're kind of getting into the you're kind of getting into the Lewis Max stuff.
They're setting it up.
But they're like, I don't know, they're not setting it up that good. I mean, it's like we're getting into the Monaco stuff with Leclerc. They get into a little bit more of like how that happened, but then they're also, I mean, I felt like they're getting into the Lewis Max battle, but then there's I mean, I really did feel like one of the, I was like, I'm a fan. I'm a more fully realized fan now, because they do a whole thing where they're showing, this win, and here, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you're skipping Baku? Yeah, I screamed at the TV. You're going to skip Baku?
Yeah. Who knows who they were in with at that? They might have been in with Alfa Romeo that race.
Right. But still, it's like you don't even need the backstage pass. Why do you need the backstage pass to tell the fucking story of what happened with
Baku? Was a game changer.
It was the most thrilling race to me of the whole fucking. It was like it was the most thrilling race of the year almost. I mean, besides Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, I mean, but you know what? I mean, you and I know what happened in Baku, so we didn't necessarily need to see it again. But what was amazing was hearing Lewis being like, "Baku fucked me up.
Right.
Gave me nightmares."
Yeah.
That was amazing. Him just, but we'll get to, I mean, that was later in the episode, but where he's like walking around the Red Bull, like dick measuring the Red Bull.
Yep.
And then run. Lewis is a little snitch, honestly. Yeah. He's such a little snitch. He does this later where he's like, "What the double wave yellows?" But he's like, he's doing his Inspector Lewis thing.
Yeah.
And then he runs back and he goes, "Yeah, they got a fin here.
Yeah.
Here." And then they go back this way and that way. And then it was just so good to hear him that was just incredible.
Right. Well, it's also it's to think that like he's the one. It's like, don't we have someone in Mercedes who can do that for you?
Yeah.
Don't we have pictures? Don't we have like high definition cameras? But it's like Lewis is like, hold on, let me go check this car out. Let me go.
It's like me looking at it. It's like, yeah, it's got like these little slits, No, but maybe he gets to be close. Like maybe they won't let their head of engineering, like
right.
He's Lewis, like he can just walk right up to the car because he's got that level of access. Another great thing to me, this episode, there was a moment that right next to that moment was a moment where we really got into Lewis's. Just reminded you that Lewis is kind of an anxious person. He's like seeing all these people.
Oh, right.
It's like really stressing me out. He goes, he was like, "Why are these people so close?" All these people really stressed. He sounded like me, like when the lockdown was ending. And I was at my first party, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? These are all these. Well, get out of my grill! Get out of my fucking grill! They're too close. Why are they so close?
Yeah. Yeah, we see
We
Monaco
cut it.
again. We
see the two principals on the two boats.
right. Yes.
But first we had Christian with his kid with his
right.
kids.
Yeah. This is amazing.
And I want to see him playing with his kids, and then they hold on too long. He's like, "Did you get it? Great." And then moving on, and we're moving on. We got me playing with my kids. No, I'm sure he loves his kids. And then he asks his kids what they want, and his son is like, "I want a helicopter," which is honestly probably in play for that family.
Right. I was like, yeah, that's a rich kid thing to ask for.
Yeah, but his daughter is adorable. She was
Right.
like, "I want a guinea pig," and he's like, "That's not happening."
Right.
Helicopter. We'll talk about it.
We'll talk about helicopter.
We'll talk about helicopter, but the guinea pig, absolutely not. This thing shit everywhere. Helicopter actually holds its value. So, and then he goes, and then he's, because he's a slut who lives with the drama. He's like, "What do you guys wish for?" And they're like, and then they said the guinea pig. He goes, "What about Max?" And she goes, "That's your wish." And then it's like the whole family knows his fucking
right.
what he wants.
Yeah.
And it's not for his kids to grow up happy.
Right.
It's not for them to have a better life than he had. It's for Max to win.
Yeah. Producer Jenny wrote that he and Jerry are basically like gunning for their own reality show.
And you know what? They're succeeding.
Yeah. Guess what? It would be a huge hit.
Meet the Horners.
Exactly. Meet the Horners. True. I mean, I would fucking watch. Get that shit on Sky TV. I'll put on my VPN. I'll get on my VPN, say that I'm in Oxfordshire, and I'll watch that shit.
But then we get them on the two boats. Then we meet Susie Wolf.
Yes.
We meet Susie Wolf, what's so interesting is they introduce Susie Wolf as like the CEO of a Formula E team.
Yeah.
Like that's what they say underneath. They make no mention of the fact that she's Toto Wolff's wife.
Right. You put that together because they're on the plane together and her last name is Wolf, but they're not like they never explicitly say that. Just like they never ever say that Jerry Horner is Ginger Spice.
No, they do.
When?
They do. They say Jerry Horner, Christian's wife. They do.
No. Not Christian's wife. They never said that she's Ginger Spice.
right. They invert it, right?
Right.
Jerry's career doesn't exist.
Right.
Right. She only exists as his wife.
Right.
Which is weird.
Right.
And then they're like, she's a housewife. And then with
Susie
Toto's
Wolf,
wife, it's like Susie Wolf, she's a formidable executive in motorsports.
Right. She's interviewed in the same context that all the other principals are interviewed. It's in the same context that Will Bucks is. She's in that room.
I mean,
Jerry Horner's never in that room.
Yeah, Jerry Horner's never in that room. But she wouldn't be interviewed if she wasn't Toto's wife.
Right.
She is one of the more accomplished women in F1, though.
Totally. But she's not but she's not in F1. She's in Formula E.
She's in Formula E.
Formula 1 isn't really her. I mean, it's her world because of
she was. I think she actually was a reserve driver for. She's one of the most accomplished.
She's a fucking badass.
She's a boss. She's a G. And honestly, like, if she wanted to give a TED talk about, fucking winning at life.
Yeah.
Like I would.
Totally.
It's like, listen, I got the dope job. I fucking race cars in a man's world.
Mm-hmm.
I have the most awesome husband ever.
Yeah.
I just win.
Right.
I mean, if I had to think about like people I would want to trade places, this is the most homosexual thing I think I'll ever say.
Yeah.
But I would trade places with Susie Wolf in a second.
She's
I get to have all Toto's money, none of Toto's stress.
Right.
and get
If
fucked by
anything,
Toto.
if anything, it's interesting to think about the dynamics between in those marriages, because it's like it feels like Jerry takes on all of Christian's stress when
Oh
it
yeah,
comes to
Jerry's doing a
Mercedes
lot of
and
emotional what they
labor.
call emotional invisible labor that women
Yeah.
often don't get credit for.
Yes. Jerry's doing a lot of, like stroking the ego, stroking the head. Yeah, it's okay. Everything's fine. You're great. You're amazing, sweetie. You're amazing.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. And they get into this a bit later, but like Susie Wolf is like, I get why Christian hates Toto. Like she's like, they're very, she's like, this is your shit, so deal with it. Like, I'm not going to get like, this is your stuff, honey. This is your stuff, babe.
Well, their relationship is so much like Toto's just showing her the fucking graphs and the fucking
right.
Because Susie Susie probably knows more about the like engineering and the car than he does.
Right.
Because she raced at a higher level.
Totally.
And he's like, he goes, look at the delta from her, from them and us. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like when they talk, I feel like they're just two fucking motorsport people talking.
Right.
Whereas I often feel like when Jerry and Christian are talking, it's more emotional. It's more like, oh, baby, do you have a hard day?
Yeah.
Oh, Toto again.
Just do your thing. Just follow your impulses, because when you do, amazing things happen, sweetie.
Where Susie's like, yeah, your car's not generating enough downforce.
Right.
It's obvious what you need to do to fix that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, I thought she did great in the interviews, but it's interesting how like a woman is either someone's wife or it's they're like or like they're a girl boss, but they can never be. Maybe I'm overthinking this. Am I overthinking it?
Well, there was, the gender representation this season was better than in previous seasons. We had
it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
It was a little bit better. Jenny Gao.
They had Jenny Gao.
And then they added
Toto's
Susie.
wife.
Yeah, right. They added Susie.
Who I get the next best expert that they could find to speak with authority is the woman that's she's not even in Formula One.
Right.
She was in Formula One, but like there's no high level woman that they could also bring in to speak.
Right.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, she has a unique perspective because she knows the world and she's Toto's wife.
Yeah.
So obviously she has a great perspective.
She has a great perspective for the the emotional kind of reality show world of Drive to Survive.
But I mean,
slutty little drama. I mean,
Jerry could give Jerry probably knows all that too.
Right.
I mean,
totally. I get your point. I hear what you're saying.
She doesn't have the same. She doesn't have the same F1 knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure when you marry Christian Horner, you pick that shit up.
Yeah.
I mean, I never fucked with Tennessee Williams, and then now I know a lot about him because my girlfriend's obsessed with him. But anyway.
Yeah, so this episode they're showing Max just whooping. They're showing Max dominating. And I think that's like it's important to remember that because we were just talking about how like there's a narrative around this season and the fact that like Mercedes just had the better car. They just had the superior car, and it's a miracle that Max like even won this shit. And I think that there's an element of that which is true, but like for the first half of that season, Max was whooping Lewis's ass. He was kicking his fucking ass. And this episode, I mean, it goes through all of that stuff. I mean, like, I didn't need to see the Austrian or the Styrian Grand Prix. I'm glad they didn't show.
He wasn't kicking his ass. He was up like 30 points.
He was getting in first, and Lewis is getting in second. Lewis is getting in second, but he was dominating those races.
Lewis won some.
The Styrian and the Austrian.
Yeah, he was pulling away, and then we get to.
Right.
Silverstone.
Then we
And
get to
then it kind of-
Silverstone.
and then Mercedes starts coming in with the upgrades and it starts to shift.
Right.
But and Mercedes gets faster and faster as so the first half Red Bull had the better car, and then the second half Mercedes had the better car.
Right.
Indisputably.
Right.
And they won the constructors. So I mean, John fucking sent me an email saying that me saying that Mercedes had the better car, that Max won an inferior piece of machinery is fucking slander. And I don't know if it is. Mercedes won the drivers' championship. Bottas beat Perez handily.
Right.
So what the fuck are we talking about? I don't think I said something that ludicrous.
Yeah,
But
but
anyway.
but like, okay, Lewis won Bahrain, Max won he won Imola, Lewis won Portugal and Spain, and then
Okay.
Max won Monaco. He should have won Baku. He won France. He won Austria. He won Austria twice. So the 5 races in a row, for those 5 races, he was like whooping Lewis's. He was kicking his ass.
But it was 8-4 or 8-5. It wasn't like.
But he was.
whatever.
But he was he was kicking his ass, dude.
Okay.
And he would have whooped him at Silverstone had it not been for Lewis putting his fucking nose up in there and Max, not having any of it.
Yeah. Wow.
So
Silverstone.
This is where it starts to get like, okay, now
This is the
now
red
we're
wedding.
getting somewhere.
This is the
Now-
red wedding of.
Yes.
This is where it all changes.
This is where
is where
everything
it's-
changes.
This is where it
and-
starts to happen.
Yeah. And I mean, they go into cops. Lewis puts his nose in there. Max shuts the door, gets clipped, goes into the wall.
But you're missing the part where the prep that was incredible.
Yeah.
Where a girl comes up to Daniel and she's like, I got hand sanitizer, like because of COVID.
Right.
And then Daniel just looks at the camera and was like, she was prepared.
And
And he said it like so slutty. And I was like, this guy fucks. This Daniel Ricciardo fucks. Anyway, the way he said it.
Oh, was that like it was sexual when how he said it?
He was like, he said it like kind of Randy. Like he was like, she came prepared. Like,
Okay.
He said it kind of like this girl was ready for that action. You know what I
Ready for
mean?
that. I got the I've got the lube.
She had the lube ready.
I have the hand sanitizer. It kills 99% of germs. Lube.
He had like a twinkle in his eyes, like this girl came prepared. And they asked Max about backing down, and in one of the interviews that they snatched,
Mhm.
they stole
Right.
without his permission, and he was
Yeah.
like, "Only a weakling will do that." It's like, who's this fucking? He comes off like such a supervillain
Mm-hmm.
because you don't have much access to him.
Right.
And then so the race happens.
The race happens. There's the crash. We see the reactions. We see, Christian calling into Michael Massey.
Well, before Christian, this is why I love British people. Christian, before the race, Christian leans over and he goes, I expect this one to get a bit fruity.
yeah. This one's gonna
God
get a bit
damn
fruity,
it,
won't it?
they understate.
And you see how pumped I saw a clip also where they were talking about Lewis's 10-second penalty that he had to serve,
Yeah,
and someone timed it.
yeah.
The driver survived 10-second penalty, and it was like it was 35 seconds on driver survive.
Yes.
So
That's
a 10-second
amazing.
penalty in a race is a 35-second penalty in drive to survive.
As it should be.
As it should be. Yeah.
And you want to know something? If someone doesn't like Drive to Survive because they think it's manipulated, then you should never watch a documentary. You should never watch another documentary again.
Right.
Because they all do this.
Yes.
They all do this. If they just showed just putting a camera anywhere and pointing it from any angle is a perspective, is a subjective perspective. When you choose to put a camera here and not there, up and not down, you light it, and then what to include and what not to include, you're making choices that alter fucking reality. Okay. So that is always the fucking case.
Well, they
And
say
every
like that.
document. I mean, the movie that won the Academy Award last year, the best documentary. The guy projected a whole fucking relationship onto an octopus. You know what I mean? It was manipulated, man. It was manipulated.
It's being manipulated, man. That octopus didn't love him, man. It's being manipulated.
Totally manipulated.
It's being totally manipulated, man. Yeah, I mean, when they say like 10 seconds is a lifetime, well, then show it feeling like a lifetime. If they just showed it in the actual 10 seconds, you'd be like, well, okay, that who cares? Who gives a shit?
Well, it actually wasn't a lifetime.
It actually was a lifetime because he came back and won that race handily. It wasn't enough of a lifetime. Should have been 15 seconds, maybe 20. But yeah, they gave him the 10. They play the classic clip of oh fuck of Max Verstappen.
I felt more bad about that one now.
Now you felt about what?
Because the new camera angle that they showed of him hitting the wall,
Right,
and then you see his face when he goes, "Oh fuck!" Because we've been, for those of you who don't know, we were making fun of it because it sounds like he's coming,
right,
and we were like, feel like it does, and
it does.
That's the sound that he makes when he's coming. Anyway,
yeah. 51 G's, straight out the balls.
And then Christian goes, "That nearly killed our driver. I want him out of the race."
Right. Yeah, you see them, you see them say that Lewis should be disqualified, just wanting to accuse Lewis of murder.
Marco was like, suspended.
Yeah,
suspended.
Suspend him. Suspend him. Kick him out of the sport.
and then Christian calls the now iconic, "Michael, have you got a minute?"
yes, Christian.
And then I just wrote down, Toto goes, they were talking about, Toto said Minervas. He said Minervas. I don't remember what he's like, these Minervas.
Yeah, Max has always gotten away with these Minervas. Yeah, you hear it. It's interesting to see the how they're rationalizing what's happening, because you see the Mercedes crew talking about, Max does this all the time and everyone just backs off, and he does this all like this is he needs to learn, which
what did he yeah, he really learned his lesson in Monza.
Right. Yeah, they're like maybe he won't drive like that anymore.
Back off.
Like, yeah, maybe he'll start to back off. Yeah. Cut to Jeddah, cut to Abu Dhabi. Yeah. He's like, maybe I won't.
Lewis is like, I taught that boy a lesson.
Right.
Fucking cut to wheel on head. That's what you get when you don't leave the space.
That's what you get when you don't leave the space. Yeah, so finally we're getting to it. That is I love, by the way, I love Lewis doing like both sides of the PR after the race, after he throws him into the wall. Yeah.
He goes, "Is Max okay?" And they're like, "Max okay?" I mean, he totally turned in on me there. Is he okay? He's like trying to he's trying to be like, are you okay? But like, it also wasn't my fault. Fuck him.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to do. I remember in school.
Yeah.
When you were fucking around and you hurt another kid.
Mm-hmm.
I remember this happened with one time I was with Dan Levinson.
Yeah.
Jenny, you can bleep that out. And I kicked the locker clothes on his hand.
Yeah.
And he's screaming bloody murder.
Yeah.
Screaming bloody murder in the middle of the fucking hallway as class is starting.
Yeah.
And I put my arms around, I'm like, Dan, oh, you okay? Oh, I'm sorry. Shh. But are you okay? Oh, I'm so sorry. Shut the fuck up. No. And you're doing this thing where you're trying to be contrite, but you're also like completely self-interested at the same time.
Yeah.
Dan, oh, I'm so sorry. Just shut the fuck up. and then it was like fucking principal's office.
Right.
Because he just went, ah! And then the principal who recently I think got thrown out of Dalton because he was too woke. But Jim Best.
Yep.
He was like, "What's going on here?" And he's like, "He kicked the blocker on my end. Thanks, Dan. Thank you.
Yes,
but,
that's what Lewis is doing with Max there.
No. Well,
Lewis is doing.
Like, shh. Is he okay? But shut the fuck up. It wasn't my fault. I didn't do anything.
Right. No. But also Lewis was like doing a little bit like, stop hitting yourself. It's a little bit of that.
No, because in recess that would always happen. You would be doing something you shouldn't be doing. Someone got hurt. You'd like pretend to be his friend and like,
right.
Be like, oh, are you okay, Bobby? But like, oh, just be quiet though. Be quiet.
Yeah. Well, he's like, is he okay? Like, he really shouldn't have done that. I just hope he's okay. He really shouldn't. I mean, I don't know what he was thinking, but yeah. It's hard racing, man. It's hard racing.
I just hope he's okay.
I just hope he's okay. I really shouldn't even get a 10-second penalty. Is the bare minimum of what they should
I'm
get.
Okay after something like that.
Yeah. It really could have been me. I really could have been hurt there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty shaken up just emotionally.
Yeah. And you know the battle, you know, there's skin in the game now, and
shit just got real.
And as shit gets real, we're ending part 1 of our 3-part Drive to Survive series. So stick around. Tomorrow we're going to release part 2. That's going to be episodes 4 through 7 of Drive to Survive. And until then, see you tomorrow, Vankas.
Goodbye, Vankas.